How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting, and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. So, thankfully, it wasn't spoiled, but you guys have kind of helped. Someone helped me mechanically understand, so I'm not panicking anymore about like being on certain paths or whatnot. It does sound like it'll be fairly like straightforward, like if I have a specific direction I want to go down. So, at least it's all up to me. Guess we'll have to just see how this all plays out, huh? No idea how long it's going to take to decide or get myself set on a certain path, and you know, we're going to be going along. And some of you think you've got some decent ideas of which path I'm going to go down. If you want to make a prediction, you can go ahead and leave it in the comments. You know, maybe we'll find out this episode, but we'll just have to see it. I don't know what to expect, but it still might be interesting to see what paths you think I'll go down. It also might be better to post that in the Discord in the spoiler zone, just so I don't see it. But at this point, I've got a pretty solid idea what I'm gonna go for. Now that can change. Is that the thing? Is that like as things play out, like I might inadvertently make choices or end up going down a route I don't expect, or I won't understand the mechanic or something, and like we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll get there. So let's just go for it to see what happens today, because I'm excited now. I'm excited to see how this is gonna happen and play out. And I'm mostly just excited to see what you think of this. The comments in these next few videos are gonna be fantastic. I just know it. So let's just get started. Having finished up after school trip with to the supermarket by the station, where I picked up 3 days worth of food, I'm briskly making my way back to the dorm. Wonder why he went. I guess 3 days makes sense, so you don't go shopping a lot. The contents of the plastic supermarket bag dangle from my hand. 6 cans of vegetables and beans, a head of lettuce, a box of corn cereal, a carton of milk, and a bottle of oolong tea. You know, considering that's all in like, he says it like it's in one bag. Even if it's in 2 bags, that's a lot to carry just down the road in bags. I would absolutely, if I were walking to and from school like this, I would have a backpack. I'd grab the bag, stick it in the backpack, just because, like, I definitely don't mind traveling, especially carrying stuff like that, but, like, carrying it in your hands, like, in a plastic bag that just distributes the weight across your fingers, it's just so obnoxious. If Amane happened to see this assortment of groceries, she'd probably get on my case about 10 tragically bland diet. Not that I can really argue with that description. The thing is, though, my appetite's borderline defective. I almost never get the urge to eat anything in particular. Since I don't have much in the way of preferences, my simplistic food choices are only natural. It's not really something I can change about myself. I mean, you gotta argue, too, like, if you've stopped really caring about the flavor of your food, like, I mean, I'm not quite at that point, obviously, but I'm kind of there, where it's like, because I've had to, you know, I've incorporated a very unique and personalized diet to help me lose my weight and maintain my weight loss. I have had to give up a lot of things that I would eat just because I like them. Even if people offer me food that's really good, I often turn it down because it's just not. I'm not hungry, and I know it's like not good for my diet, so I just stay away. There's also specific danger foods I have. Like, one of my biggest weaknesses is Oreos to this day. I don't know why, but they are a huge weakness of mine, a massive blind spot, where most, like, snacks and treats and things that I know are bad for me, I can step away from, even knowing I like them. Especially, like, I used to love pizza. I still probably do. I just haven't had it because I recognize it was a food that was a weakness. There were too many carbs without enough, like, you know, actual nutrition into it, so it'd make me feel really full without giving me any benefit, so I've stepped away from eating it. And the thing is, like, I don't find that really tempting anymore. It's not like, maybe it would be harder if there was a box of pizza sitting at my table, but I don't order pizza, and I don't get these sudden cravings like I do with Oreos for some reason, where I can be walking in the supermarket and I'll see Oreos out of the corner of my eye, and I have to resist the urge to just buy them. And it's weird because that doesn't happen with anything else. Not like chocolate, not like some of my favorite candies or things like that, you know, you would consider being a problem for in most cases. But for some reason, the Oreos just have this really weird hold on my soul. It's bizarre. So I have to be careful with the Oreos. But yeah, beyond that, my choices of food are pretty bland. In fact, I tend to prefer tofu to other meats because I've stopped enjoying the texture and flavor of most meat. And it's weird because, like, I don't have to not eat meat. it just churns my stomach nowadays. And so I tend to eat tofu. And I love it. But most people look at that and be like, that's disgusting. Or like, how could you stand that stuff? It's like, I don't know. I just like it now. And it makes me feel full and it makes me feel satisfied. It gives me what I need. And I can give it enough flavor to make it taste good for me. It's weird. But yeah, food's an odd thing where like when you have a lifestyle, your whole world of food kind of revolves around it. And it's bizarre how much things like taste isn't really that big of a factor in the big picture, in the large scheme of things. There were stretches of my life where my diet consisted entirely of hard old bread and so crusty I had to soak it in water before I could sink my teeth into it. Compared to that, anything seems delicious. My private cell phone begins to buzz in the pocket of my uniform, emitting that familiar electronic jingle. It's an unpleasant now as it was the first time I heard it. Oh, that's right, because we just gave our phone number and email to everybody. So now they can actually contact us. More spam was my first thought, but after my classmates seized my email address a few days ago, I've been getting messages from them relatively frequently. The most frequent sender would be Amane. Her messages are most often, where are you at the moment? Type of inquiry about my situation. Followed by, what do you want to eat tonight? Style survey questions about the dinner menu, which tend to leave me racking my brain for an answer. And finally, limited time sale 4 p.m. today, buy a pack of large eggs from Sohai. Or Shoei. I said that horrifically wrong, I'm sorry. Shoei. And other requests to run errands for her. Mixed in with Amane's frequent messages, I have gotten mail from Sachi, such as, I've discovered a beehive hanging under the roof of the PE warehouse. I'm sending this message in the hope you might be able to assist me in the extermination. That one's a pretty typical example. They tend to be polite invitations to join in unified peacekeeping operations around the school. Well, since those messages at least approach meaningful communication, they're comparatively not too bad. After all, there was the one email from Michiru that arrived in the middle of the night. What? After opening that particular message, I stared at the screen blankly for a good 3 seconds before finally cocking my head to the side in a rare gesture of complete confusion. The mail's contents? A simple litany of angry words. What? It's like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, die, 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 hate, 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 hate. Why? And although I tried to remember whether I'd done anything to offend Michiru lately, no satisfying explanation presented itself. Which isn't to say nothing came to mind, of course. If anything, so many things occurred to me, it was hard to pin down one particular incident that might have inspired her wrath, but when I met Michiru the next morning and brought it up, apparently, while in bed that night, some stupid little mistake she'd made a long time ago popped into her head. Unable to sleep from irritation, she'd taken it out on me via email. Okay, I get that, like, the occasional, like, late night wake up and you're, like, assaulted with memories of something really dumb. Absolutely. Why email Yuuji? And the mistake in question? Back in elementary school science class, the teacher had asked everyone to name any fish they could think of. So Michiru raised her hand energetically and shouted, "Sushi!" earning the ridicule of her classmates. In other words, pretty much the most idiotic thing in the world to be losing sleep over years after the fact. Imagine if you can, the exasperation and exhaustion I felt. Anyway, among all these messages, the only one to make me laugh was sent by Sakaki. I had assumed I wouldn't get a single email from her in the first place, so it was a bit of a surprise just to receive that message. But the real issue was its contents. To be specific, the message contained all of 4 letters. Test. Of course, one could interpret this as the condensed form of a more expressive message. Oh no. It's so funny, because even in this picture, it looks like they are trying to make her look innocent and happy, and I know she can, but even here, it more resembles her, like, very frustrated expression, so it feels super fake. I don't know how they accomplished that, and if that's what's intended, but this feels so artificial, it's kind of creepy. Yeah, this doesn't even sound like her. Like, it's like the voice actor is even up pitching, and it just doesn't. It sounds alien. Nope, No, but somehow I think not. Probably. No, pretty much definitely. She sent it solely for the purpose of confirming that my mail would be delivered properly. That sort of methodological methodolic caution. I'm not saying that right. Methodical. What is wrong with me today? Methodical caution for its own namesake, seem to be very much like Sakaki. Okay, the other thing I'm gonna say. So yeah, I messed up the Japanese words. I messed up my own words, English words, words I have no excuse for messing up. So yeah, you know it's just a me thing. I sent a concise received a reply to her message and haven't received another from her since. Well then, who is this from this time? I opened the email folder on my phone with a feeling of mild embarrassment, but the title of the message is an instant letdown. Will you be my papa? Ugh. From the title alone, it's pretty clearly spam. I have no idea where they got the email address since I've never given it out to anyone but my classmates, but this sort of garbage arrives at a pretty decent clip. I work for a company in the business of information and we've got a pretty nice database, but sometimes I think a bunch of people trying to sell me phony Viagra just might have the superior intelligence network. Yeah, well they also have automated systems where they'll just kind of smush together like common words and phrases and just try and land hits on email addresses. It'll even do random number and letter generation and just spam it out and, you know, hope things go through. While reflecting on the spammer's frightening abilities, I press the delete button, but at that moment, my eye jumps to the name of the sender and I pause in utter confusion. From Irisu Makina. That's almost worse though. Why? Makina? I canceled the deletion command, opened this bizarrely titled email, and quickly look over its contents. Hello, this is Makina Oni-chan. Allow me to express my sincere congratulations on your continued good health. What the fetch is this? What? In conclusion, this constitutes a formal announcement that you have officially leveled up from Oni-chan to Papa. Thank you very much for the consideration. Yours truly. What? It's complete gibberish. The writing is all over the place. There are all sorts of strange typos. Not a single word is capitalized. Also, I have no idea if any of this is supposed to mean. Level up Papa. What's this girl talking about? It's deeply concerning. Well, I wasn't expecting any message from her to be particularly well composed, but this just is incoherent. Judging from this, I think it would take quite some time to unravel the mystery if we could communicate through email. I type out a quick reply. I don't understand? Let's talk face to face. Okay, sent. Awkwardly typing out a few short words, I text back my response. Makina's reply arrives in less than a minute. Xiaowa. Why German? Wait, was that German? Jowl? I have no idea. Does she want me to meet in Valhalla or what? Anyway, it's pretty obvious that finding the girl and talking face to face is the only way this will get cleared up. Of course, even then, we're dealing with Makina here. Smooth mutual understanding may be too much to hope for. But at the very least, communication in person is none of the lag time of a text message, and unlike a phone call, you can give the other party a good smack when necessary. I hurry back toward the dormitory and my conference with Makina. That's so strange. 15 minutes later, I pass through the school gate on my way back to the dorm. As I'm cutting through the courtyard, I observe a bizarre object a little ways off. Okay, before we dive into this, I do want to say, okay, honestly, if Makina weren't Makina, and I heard someone who referred to me as Oni-chan or brother say I leveled up to Papa, it'd be weird, but only in the sense that's like, why the change? Like, that's an odd change to make, and changing from like a doting brother type figure to a father figure is definitely an odd shift. And so, especially if it were a girl, that would raise concerns about her expectations of me, and also, you know, is she okay? That's a weird thing to do. With Makina, though, it's hard to know because there's also that level where she like is acting childlike, but she also has a really strong grasp of like fetishes and sexualization and all of that. She gets all of that. She puns about it. She makes jokes about it. And so on that, the existence of that level of like comedy also muddies these waters a lot, especially because even if she has like genuine feelings for Yuuji, which I'm guessing is what happens if you go down her route, it's hard to know if she's being serious ever. Whether that's intentional, I don't know. I will probably find out on my own time, but it's at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, it makes her a confusing character to work with, mentally, trying to put myself in the space of the characters and trying to like be immersed in the world. It makes her difficult to work around because it's always a question of whether she's serious or not. And otherwise, she'd just be this kind of like very comedic, joking character. But there's parts of me that always wonders, like, but does she mean it or not? So yeah, anyway, bizarre object. A rounded, soft-looking object in question lies slack on the brick-paved ground. To be more specific, it appears to be the corpse of a little girl. What the fetch? Or if you'd prefer more idyllic phrasing, a young woman seems to have fainted. This can't be happening. What the fetch is going on? I let the plastic bag fall from my hand on the spot and rushed to the girl's side. With every stride, her eye angle is clearer until at last the figure of the colleague of the collapsed individual comes into sharp definition. Unruly curly hair that sticks out in every direction, face as round as a dumpling, and trademark touch of stupidity. Knee-high socks of 2 different colors, and every particular it's irisu Makina. Hey, Makina, what's wrong? She's just dead on the ground, huh? Makina stretched out limply on the ground like a marionette cut from its strings. When I lift up her shoulder, her mouth flops open to reveal a white stick. Wait, what? Is that supposed to be a cigarette? Or is it a sucker? What is this? The thin white stick emerging from her mouth is clearly man-made. It seems to be protruding from the depths of her throat. She's choking on a sucker! At a glance, it looks like a stick from a lollipop, but that can't be right, can it? Wavering between belief and doubt, I thrust my finger inside Makina's mouth and pinched the white stick in question. Gave it a hard yank, but whatever it is, it's lodged down there pretty firmly. Gosh, dang it. Working against my brute force attempt, the stick is not only shorter and difficult to grasp, but also slippery with Makina's saliva. Looks like it should pop right out, but it doesn't budge. I'm reminded of the legendary sword into stone. This is actually a really dangerous situation. Little punk. There's a trial. Pull me out if you can, and you'll be recognized as the hero of legend. I again grabbed the white stick with my fingers, giving Makina back a harsh thump as if encouraging a baby to spit out something inedible. Fetch me, she's alive. As Makina lets out a violent cough like a consumptive heroine from a Victorian-era novel, I pull the lollipop, mandarin orange in flavor. You know, we gotta get that detail clear. Free from her throat with a wet pop. Fetch me. You might have been. Okay, how the hell did this happen? Oh. If you fall asleep with it in your mouth and your head tips backward suddenly, yeah. Don't fall asleep with a stick hanging out of your mouth. It's obviously dangerous. I mean, how old are you again? I mean, if I hadn't happened to pass by here, might she have ended up suffocating to death? As if deliberately demonstrating her complete indifference to my concerns, Makina casually offers me the same lollipop that I pulled out of her throat mere moments ago. Okay, weird. But the other thing too is like, I kind of got this impression like when we were at the pond too. This is interesting. While she seems goofy and oddly innocent and somehow vulgar and naive at the same time, she seems to have no self-preservation instinct, maybe? Like, she seems the kind of person who would throw herself into danger because it's fun and have no thought about the danger side. And here we're seeing here, like, she's like literally nearly choked to death. Like, she was probably about to start turning blue and like could have died if no one had found her. Like, that's a very legitimate thing that could have happened there, especially with how lodged it was. And she's not even like phased. She's just like, oh, I thought it was gone. Anyway, want to have the sucker. It's like, does she not care? Which is an interesting idea. It's like, what if she just doesn't have that self-preservation? What if she genuinely wants to live life to its fullest, and if she crashes, burns, and dies along the way, she's like, okay, that's fine. And why? No! Cut it out. You do realize you almost suffocated on a lump of sugar just now, right? Don't eat lollipops when you're moving around. They can kill you if you fall. What are you doing? Don't just sit on the ground. Eat the darn thing later. Don't put half-eaten candy in your darn skirt pocket. You're gonna turn into a sticky mess. What's so funny, punk? I might be noticing this a little late in the game, but this girl's mocking me? Calm yourself, Yuuji. This is the way she is, right? Don't let her get to you. I press my hand to my forehead, heaving a long, heavy sigh, and firmly rub my temples. And you planning to explain what the email was about? Don't play dumb. I'm talking about this. I take my cell phone from my pocket, slide open the screen, and hold it out for Makina to see. Displays the incoherent message she sent me just a few minutes ago. But what does that mean? And I'm telling you, I don't understand what it means. That's why I'm talking to you about it. Patience. Patience. You really shouldn't talk. Anyway, just tell me what you're trying to say here as thoroughly, concisely, and bluntly as possible. Still not making sense. Papa? Yeah, that was definitely the title of the email as well, but no, wait. What does that even mean? What does she even mean by that? Tell me something, Makina. When you say Papa, do you mean Papa, or... That's not clearing things up. What the heck? Are you seriously asking me to become your father? Or are you talking about more of a sugar daddy type deal? You're looking for money to play around with, and you think I'm going to give it to you? Okay, that's disturbing. Cause like I'm gonna take the sexualized connotation of a papa out of this equation here and just kind of look at this in a very literal sense. Cause we know a reverse sugar dad, like a sugar mama, daughter, oh, that's weird. We're gonna put that aside. That argument's, I don't need to talk about that per se. That's pretty clear what that could be and what might be implied. I'm not sure. But if she's being literal, is this possibly... I mean, I know her parents were pretty detached from her life, but like, is that part of why she acts very childish perhaps? Is that she's never really been allowed to have or be a child? And thus she kind of is looking for that type of like parental figure? Because it's something she felt like she never had? This is weird. It's very like, it's disconcerting. It's disconcerting that she's saying this and it sounds like she's being serious and that's not a joke. And because at the same time, like half the things she says are jokes and she seems so just flippant about it. It's just so bizarre. The hell? I'll give you money, so please be my papa. What the hell is that? Every step I take in this bizarre conversation seems to be taking me further and further away from understanding the situation. Okay, hold on. Think it over calmly, Yuuji. There's still a possibility I'm making some ridiculous mistake here. Before blaming others, carefully consider the possibility that you're the one who screwed up. I had that one beaten into me enough, right? Can't go forfeiting it now. Okay, Makina, just calm down, talk this over, alright? What do you want a papa, exactly? Why not? Okay. See, I kind of thought that might be the case. But that's crazy that she's so cheerful about it. I see. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, we're not great either.
私のパパになってくれそうな人って全然いなかったのね。
But at the same time, you know what we gave her that nobody else had? We treated her like a person. Remember that? I said that way back when. I was just like, everyone discredits her. They see her childlike nature. They see her joking and like her ridiculousness. And they just kind of treat her like a head case or just like a childish like person. And like they treat her like a child. But we approached her treating her kind of like her, like an adult. Not an adult per se, but like her age. Where like we talked, we listened, we tried to understand. We were willing to explain things, to try and give instruction and show her things that she might be interested in. And like, whilst we were harsh and we never pull our punches, we're also fair. She might not always feel like people treat her fairly. Maybe that's what she wanted.
そしたらね、なんと好都合なことに向こうから来たのよさ。
You're talking about me.
分かってんじゃん。冴えてるな。
For the record, I'm mildly pissed off right now, but whatever. Go on.
でもね、すぐにパパになってくださいって言ったら変な子だって思われちゃうじゃない？
I mean, yeah, it's pretty weird now, and we know you a lot better. So if you'd done it day one, that would have been very strange.
それにすぐに飛びついて失敗だったら嫌だなって思ってたし、私もそんなに赤坂な女じゃないのよ。
Sallow, you mean shallow, right? Because if it's the English translation is trying to depict a mistake, then because sallow would be like you're too pale. Okay, I think you meant to say shallow there.
アロマのカリス。
What? It's Alomalocaris? It's Anomalocaris? I don't, never mind. Let's just leave your pronunciation issue aside for the minute. Keep going.
だからとりあえずお兄ちゃんってことで様子を見させてもらって、この人で間違いないって思ったら、パパになってもらおうと思ったわけなのよ。
That's the level up?
いかにも。
Long, heavy sigh spills from my mouth. She's trying to buy herself a father. I absentmindedly massage the area between my eyebrows. I've developed a headache all of a sudden. Family isn't something you can buy with money. Doesn't everyone understand that? She might not. She really might not. Then again, there are people out there who think they can erase their families with money, so I guess it's not surprising the opposite delusion exists as well. But more importantly, what in the world am I gonna do about this one? Look, Makina, you seem to be working off a mistaken premise here. Let me clear it up for you, okay? A father isn't something you can replace with money. Spare me the ooh. Hasn't anyone ever told you something like this before?
いかんせん、父親を早くに亡くしたもので、そのあたりの機微には疎いところがあるという自覚はあるのだけれども。
Fair. What about your mother? She didn't explain any of this to you?
お母さんは私のこと嫌いだからね。
Oh. I wonder if she holds resentment that somehow she was involved or like was to blame for her father's dying. I see. I guess that makes sense then.
で、どうなの？私のパパになってくれるの？
God, that she looks at you like that. It's like, and she's asking like something that seems so like, this plucks at particular heartstrings for me, which is sad because it's like, I can't take her seriously, but I've always felt that someday I wanted to be more directly involved in the foster system. Because like, I can't think of anything more, I don't know, meaningful than providing a home for someone who doesn't have one. For being able to kind of step in where others have had to bow out for some reason. And for kids especially, it's like, what a cruel way to have to go through life without parents. And to be somebody who's like privileged enough and to have like enough going that I want to be able to share that and to provide some stability for somebody who's never been able to experience it. Or at least not truly. There's something very powerful about foster in my eyes. And it's funny because like, I feel like even in the political sides, no one really seems to care. Not in our two-party system, neither party seems to really be that very particularly like they might say it to get applause and points, but I feel like everyone wants to pretend that that part of the world doesn't exist, like homelessness. We all want to look away because it makes you uncomfortable thinking about it, because you know people should help, but you also don't want to be the one to help because you're not sure if you can or if you're willing to do what's necessary, and that's really sad. I always wanted to be that kind of person, and so for me, I'm guessing that I need to say no here, but in my heart, in the wholesome side of it, I want to say yes. I'd want to be able to be like, look, I can't be like a father, but I'd love to be able to be somebody you can trust, whom you can come to with questions and know you're going to get like a straight, heartfelt answer. But I guess I could argue that can't I do that as an Oni-chan anyway? Your papa, though, when you say papa, what exactly are you expecting me to do?
別に今まで通りでいいのよさ。私のことを守ってくれて、私のことを大切にしてくれて、私のことを愛してくれれば、それでいいの。
Did I ever protect you from harm? Or take good care of you for that matter? And apparently I loved you on top of it all? News to me. If anything, I feel like I've treated her pretty roughly at times.
家族愛って一番強い愛情なんでしょ?
Hard for me to say. I don't have a family, so I can't really comment.
じゃあ、一緒に家族について勉強していこうよ。私が娘になってあげるのよさ。
Figure it out, huh? They do say life is one learning process, but in the first place, am I really qualified to play this game? Can an irresponsible man like me call himself someone's father? Does a piece of trash like me have any right to?
Huh?
It's a brief sentence. Her tone of voice is casual, but all of a sudden it feels like my heart's being squeezed tight in my chest. Uneasy. Yes, that's probably a good word for what I'm feeling right now. A bit of an understatement. Do I have the strength to keep this girl safe?
大丈夫。お金ならあるのよ。ほら。
God, gosh, no. Like, that's not even a consideration. I don't care about the money. Makina reaches into her skirt and pulls out a number of crumpled, bent 10,000 yen bills. Fetch me. She's just throwing hundreds around, along with some smaller change. When I count, it comes to 86,000. $860, essentially. Well, probably closer to 850, but whatever. For a kid's pocket money, this strikes me as somewhat excessive.
足りなければカードもあるし。
The next thing to emerge from her skirt pocket is a gold card issued by a major credit company. Compared to the premium or unlimited black cards, I suppose it's something of a toy, but definitely not the sort you'd expect a kid to carry around. Hey, Makina?
今はそれしかないけど、お母さんかおばあさまに言えば、もっともっとお金出してくれるのよ。だから、平気なのよ。
Oh my gosh, I'm having it's a nightmare. Oh, fetch me. You don't get it. Like, it's not just a game to me. These never are. I feel like I'm standing here. I'm genuinely trying to be in Yuji's shoes right now. And I'm trying to imagine what I would go through if I had someone near my age, but childlike, trying to do this. And like, the desperation's coming out here where she just desperately doesn't want to lose us. And that is really, really crappy thing to have to try and say no to. A golden plastic card quivers in her hand. What if he says no? In that slight, uncomfortable trembling, Makina's terror of rejection is all too clear. I think I understand now why she's trying to buy my affection. She simply doesn't know any other way to get what she wants. This is probably how she was raised. When she went to her mother to talk about her troubles, she just got a wad of money. That should take care of it. So that was how she learned to solve her problems. And she never had anyone to teach her that that was wrong. What can I do for a girl like this? What can the likes of me possibly do for Makina? Okay. Safety save. I don't know what these do. And the game, I have to be careful here. God, I don't know. I know in all my heart I really should reject the money, but part of me wonders if that's saying yes. It's very clear this is a choice point. Oh no. I hope okay, I have to be transparent here. Regardless of what happens later, I can't do this route. It's not just a simple prudishness, and it even goes beyond the fact that YouTube would literally flay me alive with what would likely is down the path of Makina. It's also the fact that in the restoration patch for this game, her path is kind of broken and can completely crash the game. So, ideally, I don't make the wrong choice here. Here's the thing, though. Like, I think the right choice in both answers, I think it's turning her away. But it's also like, it's the right thing to do. It's like, you just reject, no, like, you put that money away. You don't need that. Makina, listen carefully. I don't want your money. That's not what I'm saying. If you want to play house, I'll do it for free of charge. I'm not the perfect human being you seem to think I am, and I can't commit to becoming your father. It would be irresponsible for me to pretend I could. But if it's just playing at the role, I think even someone like me can handle it. Well, a pseudo-papa, I guess. Since you've never learned what a family is, we'll try to figure it out together. Would that be enough? Alright, then let's leave it at that. That said, I'd really prefer not to be called Papa this early in my life, and I think you meant fledgling? No! Why does the internet ruin word tree? Not, definitely no. That's the fathers of an arrow. I took hold of Makina's outstretched hand and gave it a quick shake. Most likely because of the half-eaten lollipop she's been carrying around, her palm is sticky and unpleasant to the touch. You've got plenty to learn, that's for sure. When you raise something, sometimes you're the one that grows the most, and when you teach someone, you're going to learn a lot in return. Or so my master told me once. And at the time, those words didn't really resonate with me, but now I think I'm starting to understand. Even so, when I think about the rocky road that lies ahead, I can feel a dull throb of an insipid headache stirring up under my temples. Okay, well, we'll see how that plays out. I'm accustomed to being used by others. After all, my part-time job is not considered acceptable to second-guess your orders, let alone defy them. Once you're given instructions, you're expected to carry them out in letter without question, without hesitation, and without doubt. In other words, there's no right to disobey. Then again, simply do what you're told, and you'll always be provided with the necessities of life. There's no need to agonize over your decisions when you're not the one making them. In that sense, it's a very easy life.
ごめんね、ユージ。面倒な仕事頼んじゃって。
Don't worry about it. I'm currently carrying a metal overhead projector down the hallway. In our increasingly computerized age, this sort of bulky machine is already well down the road to complete obsolescence. But a fraction of the teaching staff, specifically those older than 50, don't seem to have... It's doing that thing again. Don't seem to have gotten the memo. It's ironically, it's so silly, but like I've revisited like my high school, like just on a whim when I was back in town like a few years ago. They still had these old projectors. Like these things are from like the 70s and they still use them. As a general rule, these older instructors prefer to use handwritten transparencies as visual aids for their lessons. Yes, they still do. Personally, I don't really like to complain about the elderly not moving with the times, but every classroom in this school has a retractable LCD projector mounted on the ceiling. Yes! And yet they still use the old ones! So being forced to lug this heavy thing around for every lesson is definitely enough to inspire a few exasperated sighs.
なんかさ、今まではこういう仕事って全部私に回ってきたから、ユージが来てくれたおかげで助かるよ。
You're seriously exaggerating. This is nothing. Saving people is something else entirely. Something much, much more difficult. In the first place, Amane isn't my superior or anything. I have the right to turn her request down flat. Since I'm not exercising that right, I'm acting out of my own free will. There's nothing to thank me for. Anyway, I'm just trying to show off in front of a woman. Pure self-interest.
へえ、でもさ、嫌いな子の前でいいとこ見せる必要なんてないもんね。それってつまり、ユージは私のことを好きなんだ。
What a loaded question. First of all, Amane, you have to understand it's part of bro code. I don't know if maybe it's too much to divulge this secret, but I think it's fair to say, no, you impress all people, specifically all girls, even if you're not interested in them, because you just want to have a good reputation. As a general rule, I dislike women who ask me annoying questions. You don't have to follow me around, by the way. I know where the equipment room is.
またそうやってすぐ意地悪なこと言う。女の子にそういう態度取るのがかっこいいとか思ってるなら、それ勘違いだからね。
Uh-huh. That's a fact. Let me rephrase that then. Leave this to me, Amane. You go on ahead. I'll catch up later.
それって死亡フラグじゃん。
Amane, once this job's done, let's get married.
いや、だから、それ死亡フラグだってば。つうか、冗談だって分かっててもドキッとするから、あんまそういうこと言わないでよ。
Duly noted.
まあ、いいわ。どこにでもついてくる鬱陶しい女だって思われるのもあれだし、後のことは任せてもいいのね。
It's interesting because by playing the two extremes, he's actually able to kind of create an interesting intersection where, like, nothing he said could be taken seriously, even what might have been the heartfelt thing he said out of the three. Yeah, not a problem.
じゃあさ、私先に帰って晩ご飯の用意するね。何が食べたい？
What?
だから、今日の晩ご飯、私が作ってあげる。何がいい？
From the classes I've been able to take, I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head, but bangohan, I believe, is dinner. If I remember correctly, that's the phrase that means like dinner. You really don't need to do that.
別にお礼じゃないわよ。私が勝手に作りたいって言ってるだけ。
That's true. It is fun to cook. When you get bit by the bug, it's fun to produce, and it's fun to find excuses to do so. Absolutely happens to me. I like I said, I got into baking over the pandemic. I don't know how it started. I think it just got like I was tired of like I think we would buy these like cookies, and because like some people, like my significant other has to stay away from gluten, we'd have to buy gluten-free, and they are chalky, and so they don't taste great, and they're really expensive. And I just got sick of it, and I was just like, I want to try making something better that we can control all the ingredients for. And I started making it, and I had a blast. And so ever since then, I've just been trying to find new fun things to cook, and I've been really enjoying it. It's something I can do with a little free time. It doesn't take a whole lot of it takes a little bit of prep, but other than that, like it's really not that much to deal with, and it's really fun. Look.
そうでも言わなきゃ、あんたちっとも食べに来ないじゃない。あんたの分も用意しておくから、ちゃんと食べに来るのよ。いい？
She understands him. Hey, hold on. Unilaterally announcing a schedule as if it matters has already been decided, then disappearing before I have time to object. The favorite trick of the crafty older woman. By repeating this process numerous times, they deeply imprint the idea I cannot oppose this woman onto my subconscious, ultimately depriving me of my ability to voice any resistance to their plans. Why exactly do these sorts of sly women flock around me like moths to a flame? At this point, I'm half convinced it's by some kind of curse. Pushy girl. Watching Amane bounce jauntily off down the hallway, I hear a light sigh. In the next moment, the cell phone in my breast pocket begins to buzz with a harsh electronic sound. As the ringing phone vibrates against me, I feel the warmth drain from my chest. It's my black cell phone. Oh, the one I was given for work. I pull the phone out of my pocket and glance at the LCD screen. The caller's name is displayed Julia, first and foremost among the sly women of my life. After a short deep breath, I press the answer button, hold the phone to my ear.
仕事よ、ユージ。
The first thing I hear is electronic noise, and the call is converted from general analog line to an encrypted digital connection. That and the commanding voice of a woman, a voice of what brooks no opposition. In answer to her clipped, succinct words, I offer a similarly terse and businesslike response. What's the situation?
Type B, 準待機。あなた、まだ学校にいるわね。17分後に迎えに行く。用意して。
Affirmative. She cuts off the call without a warning before the word is completely out of my mouth. Par for the course. 17 minutes. Returning the phone in my hand to my breast pocket, I glance at the cheap digital wristwatch on my left wrist. Which currently reads 4:50 p.m. Looking up, I hurriedly scan my surroundings. All right, so that means we have until 5:07. When I look back over my shoulder, I find Sakaki performing her usual languid intellectual girl act. One elbow resting on the windowsill, she sighs apathetically for no apparent reason. I call out to her without hesitation. Sakaki.
何?
Sakaki turns to look at me with a displeased frown on her face, roughly translatable as I'm not deaf, and approaches me with obvious reluctance. Sorry, but could you take care of this?
Huh?
Something urgent just came up. You know where the equipment room is, right? I need you to take this back for me, please.
ちょっと、どうして私が?
I owe you one.
ちょ
Same trick we just had pulled on us. Not waiting for Sakaki's response, I turn my back on her and break into a run. She doesn't raise her voice or berate me, let alone chase after me, especially after I'd calculated beforehand. I'm pretty sure Sakaki loathes domineering men from the bottom of her heart, but that hatred is so intensely precise because she can't offer much resistance to them. Interesting. Takes me 1 minute and 40 seconds to reach my room. Since I ran all out, I've worked up a good sweat in the time. But thanks to the daily running regime I've kept up since coming here, my breathing's still pretty regular. I quickly peel myself out of my sweat-soaked school uniform, toss it carelessly aside, opening the sack sitting in the corner of my room. I take out my change of clothes. Specifically, a green work uniform with the name of a cleaning company embroidered on the shirt, a cap of the same color, and a package of disposable adult diapers. Oh my gosh, he's going on a stakeout? I was about to say, like, why would you have disposable diapers? But a stakeout makes sense. Literally cannot move, cannot take your eyes off of a target. You need to be able to take care of any ablutions. First order of business, I take a diaper out of the plastic packaging and wrap it around myself. In my line of work generally, and especially in my specific job, it's often impossible to take a bathroom break once you've taken your position. Fact of the matter is, I once spent several hours at a lengthy job stowing in my own piss. He's lucky it's just that. I mean, that's the thing, is like, people might think it's odd, and a casual person wearing it might be something of ridicule, but think about it. What are the jobs that are most likely to wear diapers in their adulthood? Astronauts and assassins. So, you know, pretty intense operations. The discomfort I endured on the odd occasion is beyond my ability to express in words. As a direct result, I picked up the habit of wearing a disposable diaper to any job, no matter how minor. As soon as I finished with the diaper, I slipped on my light green work shirt, stepped into my trousers, tightened my belt, put on my hat, completing my change into the frog uniform, reviled by all who wear it. Finally, I put on a pair of deerskin gloves and a measure against possible injury to my fingertips. Completing my preparations, taking my phones out of my school uniform, I push them into my breast pocket and head for the door. By the way, deerskin gloves, if you've never had any, they're fantastic. They feel great, they're super durable. As I reach for the doorknob, I take a final look back into the interior of my room. The school uniform scattered messily on the floor kind of stands out, but there's no reason to worry about it now. In this school, there aren't any superiors to chew me out about it while I'm brandishing the punishment stick. Might as well just clean it up when and if I come back. There's always the possibility I'll never get that chance, but in the case nobody's going to be able to nag me about anything ever again. I burst out the door and rush to the school gate. My body feels light. Even as I burrowed my way into my lax student life, casually gathering small fragments of happiness with every passing day. Even when I was startled to find my cheeks loosening in a spontaneous smile. Even at the best of times, that underlying feeling of frustration never disappeared. That vague, heavy anxiety was always with me. And yet, with a single curt phone call, that weight has been lifted from my shoulders. My body moves freely, effortlessly. When you get down to it, this is how I was made. This is how I'm supposed to operate. This is what I am. As I try to convince myself of that, my body grows lighter still, but in exchange, I can feel my gaping, empty hole in my chest growing wider.
Huh? あれ、Yuuji?
Uh-oh. That's not good. An unexpected voice brings me to a reflexive halt. When I turn, sure enough, Amane standing a few meters away.
なーに? その格好、どっか行くの?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, got called into work all of a sudden.
そうなんだ。なんだっけ、掃除屋さんだっけ。もしかして遅くなるの？
Interesting. I wonder how that's gonna change things for him. I don't know if he's ever genuinely had someone waiting at home for him. Like, even though she's not in a relationship with him right now, it's almost like she's like the wife at home, and that changes the perspective. Well, I might not be able to make it back.
そっか。わかった。じゃあ私、晩ご飯用意して、食べないで待っててあげる。
I don't know if I'm going to be back at the reasonable hour.
いいよ、待ってる。でも、できるだけ早くね。お返事は？
お返事は。Alright.
よしよし。じゃあ、頑張って働いておいで。ちなみに晩ご飯のメニューは、マキナの希望で、もしかして酢豚は嫌い？パイナップルなら入れないよ。
Oh, that's the best part. That's not it. Thank you, Amane.
何？あんたがお礼言うなんてなんか変じゃない？
Okay, I'm heading out.
はい、いってらっしゃい。
Dang. Oh my gosh. He's never had anyone to come home to, and that's gonna put a whole different meaning to everything.
行ってきま
Oh!
ーす。ユージ。
Why? We were having a good moment here. Look, woman, don't just casually butt your way into a conversation between young people.
ひどい。ねえ、ちょっと今の聞いた？ひどいよね、この子。
Why are you here?
何って迎えに行くって電話で言ったじゃない。ちゃんと人の話聞きなさいよ。
No, why are you here, not in the car? I don't remember anything about that ride being you.
そりゃそうよ。言ってないしね。
Okay, can you stop talking in that sugary tone of voice? You sound like Okay, that's not very cool, man. It's raising my blood pressure.
ユージ？
Right, as I may have mentioned before, this blonde clown is JB. Feel free to ignore her stupid jokes.
いやね、別にふざけてなんかないじゃない。
Stop talking. Let's just go.
髪を引っ張らないでっていつも言ってるでしょ。もう乱暴ね。
Are you serious?
こんにちは。はじめましてなのかしら。ユージの保護者の春寺ゆりあです。いつもうちのユージがお世話になっているみたいで。巣をあまねさん。
See, that's weird because, like, she's in information. It makes sense that she would know everybody who's at this school. But not knowing that, it's very strange how she's, like, apparently keeping close tabs and knows her full name.
こんにちは。あれ、でも、どうして私の名前を？
That's weird.
それはもちろん。いつもお話はユージから聞いてるし。ね。はい、これ。
Shut your face.
私の名刺。
どうも。有限会社アサヒクリーン広報二課分室室長春寺ゆりあさん。
そう。気安く JB って呼んでいいのよ。
はあ。
That's more than enough, isn't it? Let's go, JB.
だから髪を引っ張らないでって。
Later, Amane.
いってらっしゃい。なんなの？今の人。
I wish I knew. I wish any of us knew. Why would I be?
なんか私のことあの子たちに合わせたくないみたいじゃない。
That's right, I don't. You stink of gunpowder, JB.
そうかな。私匂う？
It was a figure of speech.
まあね。そりゃ急に来たのは悪かったわ。それは謝るけど。 あんまり過敏になってもかえって怪しまれるわよ。
And that probably would
気
be
をつけな
bad.
さい。
I know.
乗って。
This car never gets any less obnoxiously flashy, and the interior stinks of perfume.
火薬臭いよりはマシでしょ。文句言わないの。
It might make my job harder, though. As she speaks, JB leans over toward me in order to put on her seatbelt, her body exuding the same sweet smell of perfume that pervades this car, the raw scent of an adult woman. As a general rule, women sprinkle more perfume on themselves with every year they age. Some of them end up as walking air fresheners, but JB's fragrance isn't too unpleasant. Somewhat reminiscent of a mother's scent, if anything. Better than the smell of gunpowder, to be sure. And what's our destination?
まずは横浜の営業所。そこで装備一式の受け渡しと、今回一緒に仕事をするメンバーと顔合わせを済ませて、その後は会社のワゴン車で移動。
So that's probably going to be a tinted van or a helicopter. Will I be working with a partner?
いいえ、今回もあなたは一人よ。他のメンバーとは別行動になるわ。
Suppression support eyes in the sky. Then there's hardly any point in meeting them, is there?
会いたくないのならそれでも構わないけど、どうする？メンバーの中には女の子が2人いるよ。
What does the team matter? I'll be with them for what? Part of the van ride? Then gender is even less relevant.
なんかイラついてるのね。最近ちゃんと眠れてる？
Can't. Still a shallow sleeper. My dreams are always about the past.
少し眠っておいたら？会社に着いたら起こしてあげるから。
Sounds like a plan. I open the glove compartment and retrieve a bottle of eyedroppers and a sleep mask. According to the watch on my wrist, it's now 5:26 p.m. About time I started on stretching my ocular muscles in preparation for my job. Pressing the back of my head firmly against the headrest, I apply a single drop of fluid to both my eyes and gently close them. Eyes still shut, I move my eyeballs in regular figure 8 pattern, sometimes squeezing my eyelids firmly down against them. Opening my eyes, I swing my focus up and down the absolute limits as if attempting to look at my own forehead and chin. Next, I move my eyes left to right, trying to catch a glimpse of my own ears. I repeat the same exercise a total of 5 times, with 1 minute breaks in between each repetition. Yeah, I mean, it's fair. Like, your eyes are pulled by muscles. Normally, we use them so, like, passively, that's not really something you need to exercise, but when quick eye movements and fast reaction time with, like, your ability to see, perceive, and interpret data, and also get, like, eyes on target can make a difference. Like, a few milliseconds can matter. Eye training makes a lot of sense. And making sure that your eyes are also hydrated properly is a really good idea. When I'm finished, I gently close my eyes, slip on the sleep mask, and consciously slow my breathing. In the inside of the car, enveloped in JB's sweet fragrance, I quietly fall asleep. Interesting.
みちるなのですから、ミッチーなどいかがでしょう？
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and stop here because I'm not exactly sure how this is gonna pan out for like the mission or not, but I think that's a good place for us to stop. I wish it were more explicit of whether or not I was on the path or not, but I'm guessing I'm not on the Makina path, or if we were, it's being really subtle about it, which is always a possibility, but like my guess is that, especially with the lead up where it made it really obvious it was an impactful choice, I'm guessing it wouldn't be very subtle if I were on that path or not. So we'll just have to wait and see. And plus, it kind of feels like we switched from Makina focus to Amane focus. So maybe now this is going to be leading us to the choice of whether or not Amane will be the path or not. So yeah, interesting. I'm excited to play it out. Again, don't spoil things too much. I guess you can confirm, though, for me, because if we are on the Makina path, I need to know because I will have to backtrack, unfortunately. But my guess is that that's not the case because it really feels like Amane is the focus right now. So, I'm guessing I passed the test in the passing the Makina line. And, yeah, if there's anything else you think I need to know, let me know, but no spoilers. I do think it might be interesting for me. Oh, you know what? Okay, here it is. The day this goes live, you can post in your comments about what path you think I'll get, but the day this goes live, I'll also go post, a poll It'll be on Discord, linked to the Discord, and I'll probably also put a link to it in like the YouTube community. Maybe YouTube community will be where the poll is. But yeah, I don't know actually. I don't know if I want to do the poll because you're just probably gonna vote for what ones you want me to do, and I don't want to see that. So yeah, maybe not. Post what path you think I'm gonna get, and then I'll try and gather some data about maybe like which path you thought I was going to end up on after the fact, but we'll see. I don't know. Part of me wants to know what you all think, but I know that there's unintended like spoilers down that path of getting that information. It's like it's a toss-up. I don't know. I'll try and figure something out. But regardless, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. God, Makina pulled at my heartstrings, man. I'm happy that like if I'm right and I'm not on her path, I was still able to be like, hey, look, I'll still like help you out and be like a father-like figure. I like how there wasn't really an option to just turn her down completely. I'm not sure why accepting the money was like, if you want her path, why accepting money was the right answer, but I'm sure it would have played out in some logical way. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. I'm so excited to continue this story with you all. And yeah, let's just keep plodding forward into the year. A lot of interesting changes are happening to YouTube right now. A lot of people are saying goodbye, and that's really odd, but I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun making content, and I'm really grateful to be able to share it. And, you know, the internet by nature is a changing place. But for a while yet, I still want to be around and do posting content. So my plan is to not go anywhere for a long time. And thank you for sticking it out with me for this. So hopefully you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you to the patrons and members. Until next video watching me, you'll see me next. I'll see you there.